And then I love an ASTS. I'm loving that one. You look at ASTS, I sold the 90 puts, got $1.37 for selling those 90 puts, and I'll take it at 90. And then the fly, I like this trend in ASTS. And fly, I sold the 2150 put that expires Friday. So I don't have, in my mind, much risk in these trades, but I'm just, taking a clean $1,500 or more. Uh, and I got some more trades I'll do today, but there's just been one, two, three, four, five, six, eight or nine trades.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's a full boat to keep track of right there.
It is a full boat to keep track of. And that's every day. There hasn't been a day go by since we started the show, I don't think, that I haven't brought in a little bit of money. Whether it's four or $500 or 3,000, just every single day I'm finding something. And right now it's been easier than ever because, these stocks that have 3 day a week options, AVGO, Nvidia, the rest of them, that's been a whole new little gold mine.
Yeah. So, when Jack and I talk about rolling these short puts, usually we didn't get put the stock, and TSLL is probably the most um, the best example of me just continuing to roll these forward. I've had the 19s that I've had going since September, and you start out by selling like a put option in this particular case, and come expiration day to roll it. If you started by selling, you buy it back, and in the same order, you sell a new one further out in time. And it could be the same strike or it can be a different strike, but that would be rolling. You would be closing the one you had open originally, opening a new one in the same order, and keeping the trade going. Psychologically, I treat it as the same trade.
Yeah, me too. So if
Um,
you sell an option, let's just say you sell an option for $1 and it gets down to where it's worth 5 or 10 cents and you've made 90%. It's smarter to buy to close the option that you're making 90% on as it's gone down in value. Buy to close that, sell to open a new one. That's the most efficient use of capital because you're always selling time, right? You're not waiting a few days to sell it again. You want to just roll it. That's what they call it. And so many of these platforms now are built, they have rolling features in it where Tasty Trade, you can roll it, Robinhood, you can roll it, Schwab, you can
when he
roll.
says rolling features, he means it's a button on the platform that says roll, and you click it, and it creates the order for you with the contracts in it, and you just have to fine tune it a little bit with the strikes or expirations you particularly want to take advantage of for the credit you want, and then you create the GTC order at the price that you want to get filled at, and send it to the market.
Wait for the bell to ring, and you're filled.
So hopefully that answered your rolling question. If you're talking about like spreads or something like that, it gets more complicated, but it's essentially the same. You close the trade you have open, you open a similar trade, usually further out in time or up or down in price. Typically, when I'm rolling for credit. That's not always the case though. Sometimes you have to pay to roll. And I always I personally don't like to pay to roll because that increases your risk in the trade. I usually go in with my max risk in mind, and when I'm paying to roll, that means I'm putting more risk into the trade. I don't care to do that. That's just not usually what I want to do. No, the only time that usually comes into play doing the wheel is if I'm buying back calls so that and trying to get more upside on the shares. Usually that's the only time that comes into play for me on the wheel, where I'm just trying not to get called out. I don't know about you, Jack, but
Yeah, absolutely same. I don't want to do it. I don't want to pay to roll. I'd
right,
rather I'd rather close the position that I originally sold and I've got a profit on that, anything, even 50% or whatever. But I'd rather buy that back for less than I've sold it for and then start all over again.
100%. I'm with you right there.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps. There's no universal, Rob. Like that's the different. What trying to tell you exactly how I would do every position is, there's no universal here. Every stock's different. Even even the same stock can be different
Mhm.
depending on the season and the popularity of it, and then the cycle we're in and the earnings, and um, so it makes it very difficult to just give you a blanket like, here's what I would roll for, here's the percentage I would roll for, here's what that's it's kind of a complicated question.
It cheat a little bit by using the PXO software because, as you know, for us to hit the 50,000 a month challenge, we need to be right at that 38% ROI. So I just look at the PXO, Rob, and if it says 40% or 38%, that's the one I'm going to roll to.
Yeah,
Assuming
right in
that
that neighborhood and getting that 40% ROI, yeah, that keeps us on track to I call it a freedom trade.
yeah.
It's going to liberate me and my family, financially, from all the stuff I have to do to try to survive my day to day. And I just look at it like, when I meet this challenge, I'm free. Like, I free myself up, free the
Mhm.
stress of worrying about money. And then if I can do it consistently for months, which is the goal, I've made it essentially. I've freed myself from the burden of, all the things that demand money from you.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of like the why of why I do it. And I sit here and share it with you tuning in, and Jack right here every day. And Jack, you told me something walking in the room. Um, I didn't even know what to say. You were like, I'm doing better now than have ever been doing with these wheel trades.
I am. I used to do it monthly, and that was great. And I had a more leisurely approach to the market. But after seeing the way you do it, I'm totally convinced that this is what I want to do. And I like doing this. I really love doing this. Because it's just cash flow every day. And I don't think there's risk. I'm not taking the risk. I'm not paying to get in. I see a lot of guys doing debit spreads, and things like that. And I just don't want to pay to get into the trade. I just rather would get paid. And then if I've done it right, it's all going to work out. And one thing somebody asked me was if you're only going for 40% a year, why wouldn't you want to take on trades where you're making 60 or 100% until you get to 1.6 million, and then you could back the goal down to 40. And that's because I don't want to take any more risk than that. I'm fine with just ramping it up at 40% per trade. So
But
just want to ask, are these 1 day trades? Some of these I'll sell on Monday for Friday's expiration. If the stock has options Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I might do them today for Wednesday's expiration. But they're mostly for about 1 week out, Jacqueline.
well, Jack, you said something right there too. It's about muscle memory too. Athletes don't like overtrain. They don't train for the event that they're not. They train for the event they're going to do. Right? Anybody that's played sports, you train for the thing you're going to do. You don't train for something else and then back off for the main game. You train for the main game. So to me, doing 40% and doing it over and over and proving I can do it consistently and build this account that way, I've proved it's sustainable. I've got the muscle memory. I know what to do. I don't have to dial it back. And I'm not taking, like, when you go for bigger percent, there's higher risk there. There's significant risk of loss. Like, if you're going after those bigger chunks, you might actually take a step back. So that's what's this program called? This program's called Market Masters, and we're right here every day.
For free. So a guy came up to me, just so you guys know, a guy came up to me, these guys all paid a lot of money to get here. And he asked me, how much is the service that has the wheel in it? And I said, it's free. And he almost fell over. And I said, not only is it free, but we do it every day and we do it live and you can see the trades we do. And I think this is the best strategy out there going, especially if you like cash flow. Now, we listen to some other gurus where they want to make 400% on a trade and take a ton of risk. And that's cool if that's what you want to do. And all he needs is to hit on a couple of those. But the rest of that stuff would drive me crazy. And I hate losing. And I haven't taken a loss doing the wheel. The only time I did was when I bought back a call that was at a strike price on Nvidia that I didn't want to get called out at because it was going to create a $400,000 tax bill for me. So that's the only time I bought back the call, and now I sell those even higher, so I don't have to do that again.
And,
But
and
what
and
Jeff
people
was,
say that this doesn't make money fast, but
yeah,
look at this. That's so ridiculous right here. This is
and
my year to date
counting
start in
money,
April.
counting the money every day, bringing it in every day, bringing in cash flow, using these stocks as an asset to create cash flow, and stacking and packing that cash flow, and this is what you get. That's better. I see pros growth curve. This is better. I see hedge funds that want you to invest in it and show you their growth curve. This is better. Everything I've seen from bigger pros with way more money is not doing as nearly as well as Jeffrey's doing, which is why I'm all on board with the 50,000 a month challenge. I love it. And even if you have a lot of money, to you guys out there that have it, 50 grand a month is unbelievable freedom. Just unbelievable freedom. And it's doable. It's you can accomplish it. That's why I love it. I would not put a $50,000 a month challenge on any service that required a directional trade because it's almost impossible to do that. But like I say, when you're taking in money, this is just it's a gold mine out there. Selling options is a gold mine. The other thing is when I see these guys doing a lot of debit spreads only, and you're paying to get into a trade, that directional trade is way harder than what we're doing here, selling puts and calls against TSLL. This is child's play, and it's great.
I need to log into my PXO here real quick. Let me stop the share a second. Show off my personal information. Let me
No spreads, Jacqueline. We're just straight up selling cash secured puts, no spreads.
let me
Sometimes naked puts if it's on margin, those are really good too, but no spread. Credit spreads I do a lot of, but not debit spreads, only on Tesla.
Here we go. So people are asking in the chat, like, where do you put these options? And do you go 2%? Do you do APTRs? There's no universal. I started out saying that a minute ago, and I mean, there's no universal in rolling. There's no universal in where to place the trades, except that we usually target about 40% ROI.
And this thing helps us because once you've programmed in, you want that ROI, this lower right-hand box right here, you could sell a put or sell a call down there at the bottom you see, and that'll tell you which ones are already at 40. This is the biggest cheat tool I've ever seen in my life because it helps me stay exactly on track, whereas this would take me 2 hours to figure out which strike at which expiration is going to get me 40. That takes too long. Now, I think this is worth every penny. It's expensive, but it's been worth every penny because it takes me a second, where it would take me over an hour for one trade. So now I can do 15 trades a day, 20, 25, 32 trades the other day because I'm looking right at what strike to sell. So it's doing the hard work for me. Otherwise, I could, the time in the day, I don't have enough time in the day to do 25 trades if I got to figure it all out. This is amazing.
And some stocks don't have the premium on it. Like if you go and pull up like McDonald's you were talking about, there may not be a 40% ROI available in the
Mm-mm.
puts.
But I'm doing this on Mickey D's because I'm trying to add to that position in my dividend portfolio. So some of these I want to get put. Others I don't care if I do or not. And some I don't want to get put. But it's always on a stock that I would want to own. This is one I want to keep, own it and keep it. But like when I've known Rocket Lab and Fly, I don't care about those stocks like this.
Yeah,
Not like,
they were asking you the question in in our in-person thing yesterday, what stocks would you own for 5, 6, maybe even 10 years? And you immediately said, I've got a whole list. And it kind of took aback some of the other gurus in the room. And then you start listing off like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, AVGO.
son.
And I think that's powerful. You have conviction. And you and I both know that the wheel's going to work.
That's the other thing, right? That's a great thing to say. The wheel is going to work because it does work. It does work. Now, Rocket Lab is not a stock that I would have any view on in 10 years. They might not even be around. This is a crowded field. But in the meantime, right now, you got to make hay while the sun shines. And this thing is paying out. Now, it might not always pay out. It might totally break down, in which case I'll abandon it. I won't build a position in it. I'll just use it as an asset to create cash flow and not get married to it.
So, here's, this is Rocket Lab. You could do this 40% ROI, 63 for, it looks like it's going to be next week, the 20th, next Friday. You could probably dive down in here and find something for this Friday. Looks like we got maybe
That's a good one, the 64 there.
a 64 for this Friday at 35% ROI.
That's just a 3% lower than our goal. And for 3 or 4 days, I don't mind missing 40% exactly.
Yeah, this is called PXO. This is Power X Optimizer by Rockwell. It is not our product. It's just a tool that we use to help us do the wheel trades, and it just calculates everything so fast. It is expensive. It's not a cheap tool, and Jack has some free tools that you've talked about in the past that not as powerful as this, but they do help.
Yeah, and the other thing with this is if you're doing a bunch of trades, 10, 15, 30 trades a day, the tracking is equally
Yeah,
as important as this thing picking the strikes. So this software, man, you have got to track your stuff. You have to. You have to know your cost basis. You have to know, is it working? Which stocks are working? This will tell you which stocks you're making the most money on. Here he's got 20,000 in premium racked up. You can see how much you're doing. Just the tracking part of this it's priceless,
and
really.
if you're going to run more than just a couple of these, you've got to you got to start keeping your notes. And if you're doing it all on paper, eventually that starts getting out of control. And this, at a glance, I can just come in here and grab the exact account. And another benefit is when I go to roll it and stuff, if I pull in one of these, type it in like um, HPQ, it'll draw on the chart where my cost basis is
Yeah,
and show
sweet.
me, I'm able to sell those contracts right there where my cost basis is. I don't have to be chasing it down, trying to figure it out. Yeah, I've got the break even. That's the red level. And the price is actually above, it's breaking above my break even today, right there.
Yeah, this is 2 grand, Rob, and it runs on its own data feed. But you can get like options wheel strategy.ai or something like that. Some of them are free. There's a lot, if you just Google wheel tracking website, it'll show you a bunch of them. But this is the best.
Yeah. I mean, so far, and it's got all sorts of AI tools that, if you're like, well, I'm not sure about XYZ, you just pop up here and talk to their AI that's in here and it knows all about the software and how to use it and how to, it's just crazy.
And if you're
And,
starting off with just 1 or 2 positions, you probably don't need it. But when you get yourself up to where you got more, you might, and then you'll have the money to buy it if you just start off with 1 or 2 positions and just keep grinding.
and do I have the program? Do you have to program the 40% in the software? So it is a setting right here.
So easy, it's child's play.
Yeah. So this filter, the ROI is right here. I want it greater than 35. So that's what it finds. And it highlights the ones that are, right around that 35, 40% for you. So that's where you program it. Do you program it? I mean, it's just like just click there and set it, type it in. Like I want at least 35. Boom. If you were like, I'd rather do 50. You can type in 50. If you're more conservative and you were like, well, 20 is good for me, you can type in 20. It'll find them. And then you can also come over here. This is a thing kind of surprised you, Jack. Um, we'll just look at Celsius because it's on here, but you pop in here, pick your expiration like this Friday.
Sick.
You click the button to grab current prices. I didn't select for some reason that was not selecting. Let's go with IBIT then. IBIT current prices, and we click this button right here and pull it over, and you can look at all the like where all the ROIs are for the whole series for this Friday's expiration. So you could come in and say, I bet, I could sell that 36 and get 38% ROI for just 3 days of 4 day, 3 to 4 days of exposure. So it makes it so fast and so easy. Like
It's
it
crazy.
just cuts out the work because you would have to sit here and take the numbers and divide it and then calculate it. And Even if you had an Excel spreadsheet set up, you're going to have to do all these calculations and then pick where you're going to be. Whereas I can just at a glance tell I want to be right here.
Yeah, and that's for a guy that flunked ninth grade math. I hate doing all that long math, and I think it's an obstacle. People don't want to do this because they don't want to have to figure it all out. And I get it, which is why I have this. But there's no programming you have to do with this. No programming at all. It's right out of the box. It does all this. You just tell it what ROI you want, and then you start hunting and you hunt every day.
You literally click on the doodad up here that says the wheel, and it's all in here already. So that's don't do the trade because of the math. This is no. So if you use my referral link that I have for this software, it's a lifetime subscription, and you're gonna have to give me a second to try to find this. I'm not at home where I have my normal setup where we're on location. I'm on a laptop instead of my normal setup where I have all the notes and all the things I can just pop in with. So give me 1 second here. I will find that link.
There's no good book on this, um, Greg, but you can come in here and watch us do the wheel every day. I haven't read any good book on the wheel. Actually, we have a replay that you can watch where Jeffrey went over the wheel. And, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's like he says, it's a choose your own adventure, but it's applicable for every single person out there. New people, small account people, uh, everybody. You can do a cash secured put on Fermi. It's around $9. You can do a cash secured put on TSLL. Now, you can always find a stock that fits your price and risk profile to start the first move on the wheel, sell a sell a put. If you don't get the stock, you keep the premium. Next week, you sell another put. If you do get the stock put to you, you sell a call. And that's the wheel. You just keep the wheel rolling.
Yeah, and yeah, actually I don't have a good way to pull it up and show everybody. Um come watch us on Thursday and we'll go through it. We'll break it all down again. Jack and I won't be live on here tomorrow, but we will be back on Thursday when we're both back in our home office, and we're gonna break down the wheel step by step for you on Thursday.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
in start to finish. We'll walk through a whole what happens, the whole choose your own adventure.
And I'll even pick two stocks that you guys can start with, and I'll do the trades with you Thursday.
So Jack and I are at an in-person event right now, and we're sitting in a hotel room with laptops trying to make this show work for you. And we don't have all our normal tools and access to everything, but we're going to try to, we'll get this show back on the road, back on normal schedule on Thursday, and go through the whole thing. So make sure you set a reminder to come watch us on Thursday. We'll start to finish. Jack will give you two awesome wheel trades that he's getting into himself. And I'll show off some of my, I mean, we can sit here and look at some of the ones I've got open right now. Maybe or maybe not, they're the best ones to get into right now. But like, HPQ, this one, I'm not even like, it's not even underwater. Jack, you weren't going to touch it with a 20-foot pole, but look at it. It has held that support where I sold the put.
This is what I'm saying, though. You have no one can come close to you with technical analysis, and I don't have it. That and you've got a great skill here, and you're right on all the time.
And right now I'm selling these upside calls against this. I already got put the shares. I got put, I played this back on earnings, and yeah, I'm missing some sort of data in here. I played it just a few weeks ago, and I got put, and I've been selling upside calls for 3 weeks now, and it's just hung right with me. I expect this to actually bounce out of here and go up to like 50. That's my big picture view. And it may be a few years. I may be in this one for a good long while. It's not a fast mover. It's not like super high premium. It's not super high beta. We always talk about going after larger beta stocks, which means that they pay more premium because they have more volatility in the short term. This one's actually 1.5 now, Jack.
Up a bit.
Up a bit. So to me, this is an ideal candidate for one that looks like it can turn a corner. And Jack likes to go after stuff that's got a 6-month uptrend.
hmm
Like AVGO has, is a great example of that. Like it's been up, up, up. We're on a small pullback, but it tends to go higher. It's actually just been churning sideways for since September.
Yeah, but we talked about that this morning. It's been paying me great. I've been doing cash secured puts. I got it put to me at 335. This thing's been a gift. And now with the 3 day a week options on this thing, I could sell today, I can sell options. The 360 expires tomorrow. You think it's going to 360 tomorrow, group? It's at 342. You think I'm going to get called out at 360? I don't. I think I just collected free money.
It looks like it's just going to hang right at that 345 to me.
And if I do get called out at 360, I'll take it. Look at
You
that.
just got paid.
I got paid twice.
Yeah. You got paid to make the promise to sell them, and you got paid because you sold them and collected the profit.
It doesn't get any better than this. I've seen it all. I've seen guys do it all. There's nothing better than this. And Chris asked about big money managers. They don't do it because it's too much work. They want to just make 2% off your money and just stick you in a mutual fund.
Yeah,
Uh,
the thing is, big money managers don't actually necessarily care about making money.
they don't care about making you any money. They only care about making themselves money. And their money comes from that 2% fee off all your assets. Um, so yeah, this is where the money's at right here. And like I say with AVGO, even though it's not going up, you can still use it as an asset to create cash flow like crazy.
Yeah, so there's like I said, on Thursday, Jack and I are going to walk through the whole process of doing a wheel trade, but there's no universal here. Some of these stocks that go sideways, you might be able to roll the put for months. That's exactly what I've done on TSLL. I've never been put the stock
It's crazy.
starting back here in September. I've been rolling these 19s forward every week, no matter if it was down or if it was up. I've been rolling the 19s forward, collecting more premium. In we can actually pop in the PXO and see my track record on this
On the one
specifically.
stock, one account. This is what's so cool. You can find out what you've been doing and is it working and how well is it working. So here he's brought in 3,700 in premium without ever touching the stock, and he only used 79.50 to bring in that 3,700 bucks. That's as slick as it gets. You're making 50% on your money and you never bought a stock. And people would think, how the hell can you do that? The wheel.
And that's exactly right, Jack. Like the wheel. This, I started right here back in September 19th. I started with this position and I just keep rolling it and keep rolling it, bring in more credit, bring in more credit, bring in more credit, bring in more credit, bring in more credit every week. And just recently I jumped out 2 weeks because of earnings. Right here, I've jumped over earnings or, pushed it out just a little bit more because the 2 weeks actually paid a few cents more than just going out 1 week for whatever reason. And it just, at the time I was doing it, it was the best choice. But that's stacked up to 3,700 bucks using 7,900. The broker reserves $7,900 cash, but I've already offset that with $3,700 profit. So if I got put today, my cost basis would already be 50% lower. So like $10. I've already collected almost $10 a premium.
Yeah,
Think
on
about
a
that for a minute. Think about
$50
that for a minute. That's crazy, right?
it is. It is crazy without ever owning the stock, right?
On a
Oh, yeah.
$20 stock that has gone nowhere since September. And it's $16 stock today, but it has literally gone nowhere since back here in September. And I've brought in 50% money.
I love it. Nothing comes close to this, guys.
And the question is, will I do the beer money trade today? I don't know yet. Jack and I are going to talk about that in the main room here in a little bit. And that's another. I do a credit spread, and it's further out of the money, and I bring in a little scratch with that every day. And I just have a whole series of little credit trades, selling puts, credit trade, selling Nasdaq beer money trades, selling credit, and just make a little scratch every day. That's just that little bit every single day is what makes a huge impact on your account when you can make that dollar and keep it by the end of the week. Make that dollar, keep it by the end of the week. That's how I tell people to get started. Just get positive and keep it by the end of the week. Do that for a month. And you're already, if you just do it for a week, you're actually doing better than 90% of traders out there.
That's right. And if you do it for a week, compare the results to anything else you're doing, and you'll see this is where the money resides.
So what strike? I just showed you what strike I currently have. This is not, it's not smoke and mirrors. These are the two strikes right there. February 13th, I got them this Friday, 1950 and 20. And for those of you that wonder about rolling, I may roll them live on the show on Thursday.
But see, if
Uh,
you sell it for 38 cents, you'd want to buy it back for 1 to 5 cents, right?
but it may be the situation where it's so like these aren't the real prices. That's I tend to roll and just put the credit in here. Since it's in the money right now, it's $4 in the money, so it's gonna be like 4.38 or something like that. I just leave the four off when I roll. For whatever reason, I just do it that way when I'm rolling the puts. I'm just interested in how much credit I've actually got in the trade. So
Dennis asked about, does it do the covered calls for you also? Yes, it does.
yeah,
You go back to the wheel and just click on sell call, Dennis, and it'll tell you uh,
if I
which.
roll up here, I've got HPQ is a covered call right now. It's right there. The call is sold against it. 21. When I was talking about HPQ, here's the real deal trade right here. 200 shares. What's my cost? My original I got put at 2050. They call it the break even is down. I've almost collected 50 cents in credit already.
See that break even? There's nothing that calculates this as well as this PXO software. And that's one of the biggest pains in the ass. You got to know your break even all the time. And calculating it after you've done 12 trades is impossible, right? To keep subtracting the premium from the price. But this with it does it all for you. This is priceless. If you're doing it big time or you really want to make this part of your life, you probably want to get this. It's not our product and we're not pitching it. We're just telling you people want to know the tools we use. So this is it.
Yeah, this is a real deal tool that both Jack and I paid for. There's no free lunch here.
Oh, I couldn't wait to get it. When you showed it to me the first time, I almost fell off my chair. I didn't hear a word you said for 20 minutes because I was staring at this thing and I could, and I'm looking at it and I see, yeah, it's calculating his break even. It's calculated his shares. It's calculated how much he's made in premium. It's calculated, did he make any ROI on the stock, 404 there. I'm staring at this thing and I cannot believe that this is built. This is perfect for guys that want to do the wheel.
And you know, you say that, but I also keep track of like the credit spread trades I do right here, like the beer money type trade. I keep track of it right there. I
Oh,
call it the freedom trade.
nice. I'm going to start putting my credit spreads in there. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you just you can actually make your own. You come in here and you add a strategy and you just call it whatever you want to, like for your AVGO or whatever. You can just add it in here and then you can actually track those too and see and then do the statistics and all the things on them and figure out if you're doing them good or efficiently or all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah, it's
that's
awesome. There's free tools you can use to track the wheel. Like I say, if you just Google it, you'll see a bunch of free ones or low cost ones, but it won't pick the strikes and it may not track it quite as well. But
yep.
there's good tracking ones out there, but none that are going to pick the strike for you.
One of the big advantages to me of this software is like when I type in HPQ, it grabs my cost basis and everything and draws it right on the chart graphically, and then shows me where that 61% ROI strike is that I can sell and tells me the expiration for it. That just cut out all the work. I don't have to go anywhere else.
I know. I
As
love
long
it.
as I keep the log updated with my trade, it puts it all right on the chart for me.
You got to be disciplined to do that. There's been 2 days go by that I don't put my trades in here and it's a nightmare. You got to do it like per trade. If you do a trade, you probably want to record it in the log, or at least at the end of the day.
And my referral code, I do get a little cheese off of it if you use my referral code, but it also gets you a lifetime access instead of a yearly access if you use my link.
That's what I did, just so you know. I bought it from his link, uh, and it's lifetime, which is what you want.
So anyway, I mean, these are our bread and butter type trades right here. You know, for people that didn't know, doing this thing Jack and I do, Guru Game is a life of ups and downs. We get popular for a little while and then less popular, and that wreaks havoc on your income. Even though it seems like we're here and we do it all every day, and everything's consistent, the income is flexible. And Jack and I have both kind of started on this mission in the background to build a reliable income.
Yeah, I gotta just credit Jeffrey with all of this, the change in my approach. When he said 50,000 a month challenge, I thought I didn't hear him right. I thought 50,000 a year challenge, which I would not be interested in that. Just no offense to anybody, but I'm not interested in a $50,000 a year challenge. But when he said 50,000 a month, that really got me perked up because I was doing good. I wasn't always doing 50,000 a month. My portfolio might have done that, but I wanted something, the portfolio, you don't see any cash. You just see the value of the portfolio go up. I wanted something where if it was 50,000 a month, that's spendable cash. And there's no other strategy that can do this. And it's not like we're shooting for pie in the sky. 40% is doable. You can accomplish.
And that's why, like, that's what your comment, like, that somebody asked you why not go for the higher ROI for a while. And it's that back to that muscle memory thing I said. If you just practice what you preach and just keep going for the 40%, when we get to 50K, it's easy just to keep doing what you've been doing to get there.
Exactly. So you got your account, and maybe your challenge is 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month. You got your cash in your account. You're using that on the wheel. You're making the five or the 10 or the 50. Then you just move that 50,000 over to your checking account. You live on that and you keep that other principal there to just use it to create more cash flow. So you're not really even touching your principal. You're just moving your profit over. Nothing
And
wrong with 25% goal, Chris. And Nevada Rain, let me just tell you, there's a little, she said she just, or he or she, Nevada, just bought using your link and looking forward to learning all about the tool. There's a little AI thing in there called Rocky, and that thing is better than any real support that I've seen.
yeah, you can just instead of going live support, you just once you get access, you just like, how can I use you? And it'll
Yeah.
start telling you, how can I use you to do the wheel? And it'll just walk you through how to do it.
I asked at one time, well, how come I did all these trades today and I don't see them in in the revenue? It'll tell you everything you want to know without talking to a human being.
And it's a lot of times it's faster and better.
Yeah, it is faster and better. I think it's way more accurate and more detailed. Dick PN asked, when do you use margin? I don't. I have margin, but I only use it to bail myself out of a trade, which I really don't let that happen. But I do have margin just in case I need it. It's a good tool to have. And I've used it heavily. I built a huge position in NVIDIA using margin. But when NVIDIA stalled out, then you got to sell it because you're paying every day, to use the margin. So you got to sell it off when it's no longer going up.
So Robinhood is a play that you could do. You could still get in the 70 strike for this Friday, right in front of earnings here. They do have earnings today. If you think it's going to go south, maybe you don't want to play that close. I have a feeling with the chart pattern. I just, we've been talking about this for months and months, Jack, almost since we started our show. And I told you it was going to do this pullback.
You were
We
right.
hit it almost to the dollar.
I thought
I told
this guy, we get off the show and I thought this guy doesn't know nothing. No, I'm like, Jack, shut up. Somebody, I think it was Jacob, says, quit fading hood. Jeffrey's got it right. And you did. You call it to the. And I thought, there's no way this thing's going to get down there. And it did. It's 70.
and now it is set to make the same run it has made twice already. And that would put it up here around 300 on the next run. Now, it may be later this year, possibly even into next year before it gets up there, but it is set to make the same run higher. This was the same size pullback that it did last year and the same size pullback it did before that. And now it's set to make the same size run that it's made twice before. When a stock does these patterns, it just keeps doing the pattern. It's a trend pullback continuation. I'm really good at finding these patterns.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
this
this
one,
one,
I have a feeling we're going higher.
you see a lot of people talking about like how do you play earnings on hood? And like 90% of it or more is they're either taking risk buying the stock before the close, buying the stock after the close, buying the stock tomorrow, doing a debit spread today. All these things where you're putting money in at risk. And the opposite of that is to sell a 75 strike price put on hood or something like that, where you're getting paid to trade. You're not paying to take a bunch of risk and losing sleep. You're bringing in the money now, and if you get it, great. If you don't get it put to you, then that's cool too.
Yeah. Like so if you came in here and sold this 70 strike put for Friday, if it drops after hours tonight and it drops to 71, you still keep all the money. If it's
Look,
still there by
that's
Friday, you keep all the money.
37%. You can be $17 out of the money or whatever at a 70 strike price put, way out of the money, expires Friday in 3 days, and that's a 37% ROI. That's a good trade.
And if it pops from here and it goes to 140, you still keep all the money on the 70. So it's like a win-win. The only thing that would be bad is if it dropped down to like 50, and
Yeah,
then you'd work your way back out of it a little bit.
you'd work your way back out of it. You wouldn't take a loss. You wouldn't book the loss. You'd have an unrealized loss. But if you had it put to you at 70 and it went to 60, you'd just continue to sell calls against it until it was right.
Yeah. Now, to answer Will's question, the link I gave you in the chat would be good. I think it's still the 1997, but it's a lifetime price and not a yearly subscription price. That's the big, if you just went to the website and you saw a 1997, it probably says per year. My link is good forever. Like it's a one-time purchase.
And these guys upgrade this software all the time.
Yeah, I think it
It
had
sounds like
three.
I'm
I
selling
think they
it.
did 3 upgrades last week.
It sounds like we're pitching it and we're not. But we get asked all the time, what do you guys use? And this
Yeah,
is
this is
it.
just a tool I bought. Like I found it, I bought it. I paid 2 grand for it, and I think it's a valuable tool if you're going to do this kind of trading.
Yeah. And look at people are doing it. Here's Bill said, I did 7 trades on Hood, was assigned on one and a profitable on all. Thank you for telling us that, Bill. And
Yeah,
see, this is number one fear is people sell a put, they don't want to get assigned. Hey, that can be the biggest gift in the world. Look at Bill said he got assigned and they're all profitable. I've been assigned on Hood. I've been assigned on Vert, AVGO. I've been assigned on everything. TSLL, all good.
it's just powerful when if you can get past. I think on Thursday we're going to walk through it, nuts to bolts, but getting put to shares really unlocks the whole new adventure. It's a whole new stage of the wheel trade.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And
Paid dividend, if it pays a dividend and you just cash flow the thing like mad, selling calls.
Jack and I have some favorite ones. Like I wouldn't touch this until it got down to my target. Jack kept telling me, I'm getting on it. I'm gonna do some more, and I was like, I gotta wait. I gotta wait. And you actually complimented me. You said your patience and discipline is off the charts compared to anybody I've ever
Unrivaled.
worked with.
Unrivaled. And you never want to marry a stock. You never fall in love with them. Yeah, the most disciplined, almost like a robot.
And I found that's how I get my success. I wait for the things to happen that I expect to happen, and then I pounce on it.
And you don't
So
care. You don't care. Like when I look at Canadian Solar, my gut instinct is to put the Triple Crown on it, which is whereas Jeffrey's just selling a cash secured put, and I did the same thing. But when I look at that, I want to own the stock, and I want to sell. I want to own some stock and sell calls against it. I can't look at that and not think it's going to go up, and I don't want to see the stock go up if I'm not in it, and I'm only selling a put against it. Where he's totally cool doing that.
yeah, I don't have to chase them. I know I can always find another one. There's going to be another one tomorrow that I can go find. There's always another one. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe I can't find something as good tomorrow, but there's another one coming down the pipe. Yeah, it's just a matter of waiting for the next one. And this right here is a beautiful potential bounce. As soon as it breaks out of this downtrend of highs, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Which is why I want to be long, not just a cash secured put.
So I'm selling. I've been rolling the 19s forward for gosh, I think I started it early December. I've been rolling. It was in the money a little bit. I just kept rolling it for more credit, more credit, more credit. It's another one like the like Tesla, TSLL. Another one just the same. I've been on this one since back here in December when it
Yeah.
got near the support. I just keep rolling it forward.
I
If it
would
never puts me
have
the
found
stock,
this,
no big deal.
I would have never found this without you, and that's why I like to go long the stock as well because I think it's going higher. Same thing with Hood. I tend to do it harder with the puts, buying the stock and selling calls.
Yeah, and maybe you can't do hood, but this one right here, you you could probably do. It's only, you know, if you do that 1850 right there for 44% for next Friday, that's 1,850 bucks reserved out of the account minus the credit you get.
Yeah, the 1850s paying a quarter. That's 44%. That's pretty good.
So they're gonna require 1825 out of your account. So
Just going to hold it, and they'll release that when the option expires.
yeah, or they're gonna use that cash to buy the shares if you
Mhm.
get put the shares. So that's and then you get a if you're in a margin account, then you get a margin on your shares that you own. So you free back up some money to spend if you want to trade on the margin. Or like Jack and I only use that to bail ourselves out if we get jammed up.
Yeah, margin can be really dangerous. So I don't have a cash account. All my accounts, except for my IRA, all my other ones are margin, but I don't use the margin. I just have it there in case I need it.
And CMG is one that I'm in. My break even has been worked down to 43. And look at this. I'm just sitting just under my break even. Beautiful.
Filled in that gap. Look at that gap down. All got filled in.
Yeah. Filled in
Look,
that gap and we're just grinding that area. And when it gets done grinding, it's probably gonna pop on up through right there. It's beautiful. Now, if you're trying to start a new trade, this one probably not necessarily the best to try to get into today because the beta is under one.
well, you don't have to worry about getting in today because Thursday we're going to spoon feed you the cream of the crop.
Yeah, we're gonna show you a couple good ones on Thursday. You know, make sure and come. Blake, you still around, buddy? I think you've got something queued up here. Jack and I'm gonna go get some lunch. My stomach's growling.
It's
Heck
one of my
yeah.
favorite tools that Blake is going to show you. It's the software that we use to do the wheel. The software he's going to show you for credit spreads is unmatched. Nothing on the planet as good as this. I use it every day. So show him the best credit spread tool on the planet.
I will. Just imagine if you could take Jack's brain and put it into a trading system, and this is it.